Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Arizona Online Partnership Series. We are discussing the top 10 myths of online learning today. My name is Callie Matello. I work in corporate partnerships. I am the client manager. I work with all of our partners on a day-to-day basis for promotion and events. And I also wanted to introduce the rest of my team. My executive director, Cara Forney, she's the executive director for our Arizona Online Corporate Partnerships. And then we have two enrollment counselors that work with our corporate partnership students, and that's Zuhaila Orozco and Stephanie Schaller. And just a little bit about corporate partnerships if you're not familiar. So the Arizona Corporate Partnership Initiative really is a way to provide a direct enrollment channel to working adults. And basically that's at a regional, national, and even international level. So our corporate partnerships team really works with employee-focused companies that are supporting a strong tuition assistance program, and they have an employee base that could benefit from a University of Arizona degree, whether that be a bachelor's, a master's, or even a graduate certificate. So we really work with their existing tuition assistance programs within the organizations, which we combine with the tuition reduction that we offer our partners. And it really creates a strong incentive for employees to go back to school and get their degree and further their development with their company. And if you do have questions at the end, a follow-up email will be sent. I'll provide my information. That way I can sort of direct you to the right resource, the right landing page, or even one of our enrollment counselors. And with that, I wanted to introduce our two hosts. We have Melody Buckner. She is the Associate Vice Provost for Digital Learning Initiatives and Online. And we have Matthew Romanowski, and he's the Director for Instructional Design for Arizona Online. So you guys can take it from there. I am going to stop sharing here.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and start sharing, Melody, while you get started.
So welcome to this little presentation on the 10 myths of online learning. And so we're going to kind of take you through some reasons why people are concerned that online learning is not as robust or maybe as effective as a face-to-face experience. So with that, I am Melody Buckner, and I am the Associate Vice Provost for Digital Learning and Online Initiatives here at the University of Arizona, and I oversee a growing team of instructional designers, videographers, instructional technologists, web developers, who all contribute to creating quality online experiences for all students here at the University of Arizona. And then Matt, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Matt Romanowski. I oversee the instructional design team in digital learning. So we work with all of the instructors to build out and put their courses online.
Great. Okay, let's go to the next slide. This is our team. So it is a full production team, and we have a retreat once a year. This was the last time we had a retreat. Of course, we couldn't have a retreat last year, so this was from 2 years ago. But if you want to learn more about our organization, you can just go to digitallearning.arizona.edu.
And to just give a little bit of background about what we've done over the last several years, the Office of Digital Learning was formed in 2014. Since then, we have collaborated with instructors on campus and other partners to produce approximately 900 courses in the credit, non-credit, graduate, undergraduate, micro campus, just about every modality that you could think of. And that's about 700 faculty and subject matter experts that we've worked with. And a couple of high notes that have occurred in the last year or two. Our office, in conjunction with the Arizona Online team, received a award from UPSIA last year for strategic innovation. Our instructional design team specifically has received 3 Online Learning Consortium Effective Practice Awards, as well as 2 Best in Track Awards for the Online Learning Consortium and EDUCAUSE. So the team has done really great work launching this the last few years. And now we'll go ahead and launch into our presentation.
Okay. So the top 10 myths of online learning. Not all learning is created equally, so here's a peek at how it can be done the right way. So I'm going to be presenting the first myth, which is that the faculty teaching online are less qualified than those teaching face-to-face. And that is definitely not the case here at the University of Arizona. We have examples of Chris Impey and Noam Chomsky. You probably have heard of Noam Chomsky. This is going to cycle through some of our faculty. But when we first started building Arizona Online, we really wanted to use the faculty that were teaching on our main campus. And that's what we have done. So all of our faculty that teach in Arizona Online are full-time faculty here at the university. So they are just as highly qualified as the folks that our main campus students are getting. And I would also say that I was a dean for a while, and every time we went out to recruit adjunct faculty, the elements I loved about the adjunct faculty is that they were working professionals. And they were coming in to give back their knowledge to students, because you just don't get paid that well to be an adjunct faculty. So you really have to love what you're doing. And I always treasured our adjunct faculty when they did come and support our online teaching or our face-to-face teaching. So all of our faculty are fully and highly qualified and have to be approved by HR in order to be able to teach at the level that they're teaching. So.
Okay, and I'll take myth number 2, and that is course content is static and formulaic, just readings and lecture slides. And we don't do that way here. That is not true at all. I've got a short video clip that I'd like to play for you. I don't know if the sound's going to come through because I haven't used this webinar mode of Zoom before, but you'll still get a sense of the type of interactive video that our award-winning studio brings into the classroom. So.
Oh, I guess we're not going to get the sound, huh?
Yeah, trying to see if I can troubleshoot that quickly. No, it's not. But this is just cycling through some of the things that we have that we are capable of as far as filming studio lectures, doing virtual field trips by going out on field shoots. We have digital whiteboarding technology that allows the instructors to interact with the content on a screen live right there. So as you can see, these are not just static courses. They are very interactive and really bring the world to the learner. And I'll go ahead and let the video finish so you can see all the different examples that we have. We also recently added podcast production to our studio's capabilities. And we bring in guest lecturers to do interviews. So another way to bring some of those world-renowned voices into the classroom that many of our instructors are so well connected with through their own research. So you can see how this instructor uses green screen technology to transport himself around the world.
Another thing is Luis Carrion, who is our lead videographer, producer, has 13 Emmys under his belt. So he really knows how to do the storytelling. That's one of the reasons why he was like my second hire, because I really wanted to lead with this digital storytelling. If we have time, I can also show you my course and show you one of the digital stories that he produced with me as the guinea pig. This was from 5 years ago. So what's nice about these is they are expensive. However, they do retain their life cycle. So I've used this video for 5 years in my course, and it still is up to date now as it was when I recorded it. Okay, myth 3, student participation is static, just written responses with no interactions. We do have the traditional discussion boards, absolutely. However, we also have technologies that allow for visual and auditory communication to go on with students and their peers and faculty. One of the best products we use, which I'm proud to say I brought to campus like 8 years ago, was VoiceThread. And VoiceThread is a visual discussion. You're going to see it right up, you're kind of watching it. Oh, someone's dog. So this allows students to leave messages, both video and audio, in VoiceThread asynchronously, so that you can have discussions at any time, but then you go back and you can listen to what your peers have left. I teach a multicultural class. We deal with a lot of really hard topics that I would be uncomfortable leaving students in a written discussion board. So all of my students have to have their voice, and I do recommend that they have their camera on too. So it makes for a much more authentic conversation than just doing the written story and the written discussion boards inside of the learning management system. We also use Zoom, like we're doing now, where we can do collaborative group work. And we also encourage our faculty to do project-based learning.
Okay, so myth number 4, you can't teach hands-on disciplines online. So there's this misconception that certain things just can't be brought to the online modality. And the truth behind that is that you actually can and should include real-world project-based tasks in online learning. So we do have online science labs. We have some classes where they send home kits to the students to perform the labs at home. They use computer programming simulations and things along those lines. So there's lots of engaged learning experiences in some of those courses that traditionally are thought of as only being able to be taught in a brick and mortar classroom. We have a instructional designer on our team who has a background as a scientist in a lab, who does a lot of the leadership and developing these courses, and uses that background of hers to bring great engaging experiences. And we are also starting to dip our toes into using VR and AR simulations to bring more interactivity and more options to the classroom.
And one thing that's nice about this, in a lab environment, a lot of times students just have access to a lab for a small amount of time. They go in, they do their work, and then they leave. If they have this setup at their house, they can do things again and again, especially if it's a simulation. Then you can really learn from your mistakes, which we also encourage in the STEM fields. So, okay, myth number 5. The online classroom is confusing and hard to navigate. We strive to get a really good flow pattern going through our courses. We always encourage faculty to have a Start Here module, and this will guide the students through the learning management system. And you can see that we have a video kind of showing you how we set up the structure so that it has the same kind of flow pattern, much like you would walk into a classroom and you see that the board and the lectern is at the front of the room and your seats are all faced in the same direction. This is what we try to do in organizing the online classroom. We have it very easy to understand, easy to navigate through. Again, at the end, if we have time, I'll show you my course. And we want to make it simple and have the same rhythm and flow pattern so that students really cannot stress about how to get there, but what do I have to do once I'm there?
Okay, and number 6, technology is used just as bells and whistles, that there's no functionality to the technology. In actuality, our technologies that we use are based on outcome. Let me restart that. Our technologies that we use are based out of best practices that we have an entire instructional technology team who researches and pilots and finds the ways that they are best used in the classroom. So we are actually getting functionality out of those tech tools, and the tech tools that don't have that functionality aren't adopted. The tools are embedded straight into the learning content, so students just automatically and seamlessly plug into it. It's just a part of the module in D2L. There's generally no steep learning curves. We look for things that are easy to use and intuitive, and they align to real world uses. So we have our Adobe Creative Cloud suite that allows students to not only use Creative Cloud, but come out of their classes being proficient in it and having those skills as they enter the workforce. So we try to use things that will benefit them as they move on in their career.
One thing too with technologies is we have some requirements that it must be able to integrate into the learning management system, so students don't have to go outside and find that technology. So it would be a seamless transition. Sometimes the students don't even know they're going into a new technology because it's embedded in the learning management system. Another thing our instructional designers do is when a faculty comes to them with a new toy or a new bell and whistle, we talk through, why are you choosing this? What are your objectives with the activity that you're going to be using this technology for? Making sure that it really does align, that it's not just a shiny toy and it's a tool that has, like Matt said, best practices attached to it.
And I should bring this up too, because I just learned it yesterday, but our instructional technology team was recently recognized by the University Awards Committee as one of the outstanding units on campus for their work over the last year. In part just supporting their normal day-to-day stuff, but also in part in supporting the emergency move to online learning with the pandemic. So they're an awesome unit to work with, and they do a great job of bringing our faculty and students up to speed when they have challenges with this.
Myth number 7, you have to be a tech expert to be an online student. No. You don't have to be a tech expert, but you do need to have the right tools so that you don't get frustrated with the process. But we can help anyone. We have people that can help the students. Our in-tech team is a good example of this. We also have 24/7 tech support. They are there all the time, and I have used these folks. They're fantastic. They can really walk you through situations in a calm manner that doesn't make you feel stupid, that makes you feel like, oh yeah, this is something that I really need to figure out, and they're very helpful. So between 24/7 and our in-tech team, those are, Liz is right there. She's the one that won the award. She's the one kind of laughing. I was going to say in a blue shirt, but both of them have a blue shirt. She has the long hair. So this team is incredible, and we do help students. As a faculty member, I also help students. So it's not only coming from staff, but faculty are very helpful in getting online students the assistance that they need to accomplish the work that they need to do in the class.
Okay, myth number 8, the curriculum is out of touch with the skills required by the job market. And the fact here is that we align all of our learning experiences and feedback to real world marketable skills development. I mentioned already Creative Cloud. So this video here is showing how Premiere Pro is used to provide proficiency in a video editing software. We have an Adobe Fast Track set of workshops that we've produced to address all of the Adobe Creative Cloud products. We reach out to industry experts to learn what they are looking for in the job market, what they want their workers to be able to do coming out of the degree program, and we stay very current with conferences and learning like what it is that is needed out there. So we strive for 100% engagement. I mentioned Adobe Creative Cloud. We're also starting to promote faculty using Microsoft Teams, since that is a campus technology, or not. Yes, Microsoft Team, but Microsoft products, because it's a campus supported software, and we want them to be able to have those skills going out. Office of Student Engagement has done some initiatives developing badges for learning new skills with our office, and we also collaborate with them on a training that allowed students to learn the best way to look for their jobs and how to do the job hunt when they leave college. So we have stayed very on top of trying to make sure that what we do is relevant to what students are doing as they go out into the world, especially since our demographic is primarily those who are already in the workforce and trying to improve their standing in the workforce.
And myth 9, online students are disconnected from the university community. We try to really engage our online students to participate in anything that's going on main campus. A lot of times, like Matt was saying, these are already working adults, so they don't have a whole lot of time to engage, but we always have those opportunities available to them. And we try as faculty to build community within the classroom. That's probably the most important part for our online students, is that they get to know their peers in their classes, because that's where they really want to be, is in their classes and getting the learning done. This is a great graphic because I think it talks about all the different parts of the online course, from the academics to the technology to the social and even to the wellness. And I make sure that, you know, when I'm teaching and when we coach and help faculty to facilitate their online courses in the same way, that we bring together these students so that they do get to know each other and they are talking about important issues or experiences that they're having in the class. So it is something that we have to work on. I don't think it comes as easy as when students come to campus, although I see a lot of students wandering around campus and I wonder how connected they really are too. So we really have to work on getting all of our students to talk to each other and to be connected, not only with their peers, but with the faculty. Our online faculty have synchronous office hours once a week. That is required. And this is, you know, this is beneficial for students to get to know their faculty. And, you know, faculty should be made available to all of their students. So we do reach out and try to get these faculty involved with the students.
And the final myth, myth number 10, an online degree is a watered down version of the real thing from main campus. And I think that we've shown over the course of this presentation that that's absolutely not true. First, our students graduate with the exact same degree as main campus students. It looks exactly the same. I'm tripping over my words today. We have the same faculty who are teaching on campus. Earlier we had Chris Impey, Noam Chomsky, pictures showing that we are bringing those faculty to the students. We have the interactive videos, interactive activities. So it is by no means watered down at all. The courses are just as rigorous and challenging and rewarding as main campus courses. And as someone who has graduated with 2 online degrees, I can tell you that when it's done right, it is just as rewarding and challenging as a face-to-face curriculum. So certainly not a watered down version.
So I guess we're to the questions area. And if anyone wants me to do a demonstration of my course, I can give you like a 5 to 7 minute overview of that. I just don't know if you are interested in that or if you just want to move on to the questions. So I guess we could have people put in the chat what they're interested in seeing.
Yeah, and one prompt could be too, are there any other myths that you guys have heard about that we can address? You know, other myths about online that you're hesitant about? Maybe Matt and Melody could address those. And feel free to put that in the Q&A.
Okay. You know, it's really been popping up lately, and it's you know, it's something we don't like to talk about in academics at all, but then it throws in that online and you're really under the gun, and that's cheating. So academic integrity. So people really think that, you know, it's easier to cheat online than it is in the face-to-face classrooms. And yes, there's some technologies and there's some barriers that we have to overcome, but we do have I guess, things in place to help with that. We do offer online proctoring to our faculty. So if they are giving a high stakes exam, we have that technology available to them, and it's at no cost to the student right now. It's all provided through Central. The other thing that we really talk to faculty about, and I started doing it a couple years ago, is really having authentic assessments. And those are harder to cheat in than your high stakes multiple choice or even written exam where people could copy and paste. But you're kind of scaffolding the learning from the first week and having students demonstrate what they're learning through projects, through giving presentations, through peer reviews with their fellow students. Even having small low stakes quizzes. So you get to kind of know the writing style of your students as you're grading. And if they perform so-so on a quiz, and then if for the midterm or final, they're stellar, well, you have some, you have some indications. So there's a lot of ways that we can go about looking at that academic integrity. One big part is talking to your students about it. So let's see, we have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. So what support do we have for online students? Is it the same as the on-campus support systems?
Actually, I think it's better. I think Arizona Online does a better job at supporting students. And I'll tell you a really quick story. My hairdresser, her daughter was at the U of A Mann campus getting a degree in public health at the undergraduate level. And she was cutting my hair and she goes, "Oh, my daughter's going to have to drop out. They've decided to have a baby and she's no longer going to be able to come to campus." And I'm like, "Well, that degree's online." And she's like, "Oh, could she transfer?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I got her in touch with the folks that helped her transfer over to the online campus. And she's now in a master's program. I'm so proud of this girl. She graduated with her degree. She had her baby right there with her with her cap and gown. But the comment I got from her was, "Wow, I had such better support when I went to the Arizona Online campus than I did on main campus." And I think it's because we really are targeting in on these students and we know their needs. Our team is just totally triggered into that. And so I think our students actually get better support because we know the hardships that they have to overcome. So,
thank you. All right. And Dina had a question about the online master's in business administration. Quickly, and Dina, if you want to talk more after, I can get you connected with the enrollment counselor, but it is 45 credit hours online and it can really be done at your own pace. So we have start dates 6 times a year and the classes are normally 7.5 weeks long. So it's really up to you and your pace, but it can be as short as 2 years or you can take longer on that.
And Dina, I echo your second comment there. I have 3 children working full time, and I'm actually surprised that I haven't had anyone storm through the door yet. But I would not have been able to get my 2 degrees if I had not had the online option. It just would not have been a possibility for me. So yeah, it's a great way to do that if you're working and have kids.
Yep, absolutely. And then from Eric, do online students get sales access to online campus resources if we're in town, like the library, labs, etc.?
Yes. Yes. And I believe you have access to all of the same resources that main campus students do. So if you have a discount, yes, you get that, and you have access to everything that's on campus, including our tutoring services, our library. We have a fantastic SALT Center that, oh my gosh, Matt, the SALT Center really helps with students who have special needs. And so Disability Resource Center, our health center, I mean, everything. I think Arizona Online students have the same access.
Another question from Eric, are textbook purchases digital or hard copy, and can students choose?
Oh, yeah, this is a really good. You want to
Yeah,
take this?
it generally depends on the instructor. There's a mix of both. What we as our instructional design team attempt to do is really encourage faculty to use open education resource. So they're called OERs, which are free, and more often than not they're digital, but the idea is to reduce that cost as much as possible for students. So that's what we push as much as we can. In some cases there may not be one available yet, in which case we'll say, hey, maybe we ought to look into building one out. And there's some great softwares where you can bring in pieces to develop a OER textbook from scratch. So both, we really try to make that as little a burden as possible.
We also have something called inclusive access, which means you have, if the faculty has elected to do this, and if they have a textbook that does this, my textbook, the students can buy anywhere. They can buy it through the U of A bookstore, they can buy it on Amazon, they can buy it anywhere. And it's about $90. The inclusive access gives them the ebook right inside the learning management system for a third of the cost. So for $30, my students can just get the ebook, and it's already in the learning management system. And what's cool about it too is if I go in and mark it up, my students get to see all the markings. So it's also an added benefit to students that go into the inclusive access. They'll get my notes as well.
Great, thank you. And also, there was a few things I was just thinking about going back to support systems. You also do receive an academic advisor just like on campus. So you have someone to help you through your entire degree program, making sure they go over your transfer credits with you, helping you pick out your courses, talking about time management. So that is available to you as well. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we do have dedicated corporate enrollment partners. So they're not only familiar with those benefits you receive as a corporate partner, but they also know a little bit about your own tuition assistance program, and they are there to help you decide on a degree program, walk you through the entire admissions process, and then hand you off to your advisor.
Great. Let's see, I guess somebody did want to see my course, so I was going to show my course.
Stop sharing here.
Okay. So this is the inside of our learning management system. And when students come in here, the main navigation is up on the top. So most students are very familiar with this, but this is the kind of, I guess, what we try to build out that has a really good flow to it. So there is an overview of the class. That's usually the class description. That's what it is for me. It's just what we're going to be doing in this class. But you can see as they move down this navigation, the first module they have is a Start Here module. And you can see that they have some activities to do. Here's my bio and my contact information. This is my syllabus, and I also give a video overview, and it's tucked right into the learning management system. They can, of course, make this big, and I walk them through physically the syllabus and let them know, the major points of it. So going back out to the Start Here module, you can see that we have everything they need. They have an opportunity to do a quiz and get some extra credit the first week. My final assignment is here, which I bring them back to. But then we have all of these other links: keys to success, how to use D2L, which is our learning management system, and the techniques. I'm going to propose that we put another link in here that goes to all of the resources that students have access to, including services where students may be in crisis. We're really talking about diversity, inclusion, and equity. And I think this could be one place where we help students find those really essential services that U of A does offer. So this is the Start Here, and you'll see that as you look at this navigation, this is a 7.5-week course, goes into week 8. You'll see that I have these hidden from my students right now. I'm teaching right now. Let's go into the first module, and you're going to see the same pattern over and over. So you really want students to fall into a pattern so they know what they're going to be seeing every week. So I start off with just an introduction, just like I would in a face-to-face class. And these are the driving questions we're going to be discussing this module. And these are the learning objectives. As you go down, you can see these are all of the activities that I want my students to do during the week. Once they do them, they actually get a little check mark so they can see that they have completed that, that activity for the module. I'm going to take you, so you can see how this is laid out. Let's go to module 2, and you're going to see the same thing. So again, starting with the introduction, I have driving questions, I have my learning objectives, and I was going to take you in and show you an overview. And this is where Luis Carrion really came into, you know, I don't know, he just opened my eyes to how you can really use video to entice students. So I am going to open this, and I'm going to start, I'm going to make it big. We're only going to listen to like the first 30 seconds of it. Well, maybe I'm going to make it big. Maybe I'm not. Hopefully you can see that.
Today we are at 1010, which is the district office of Tucson Unified School District. Over the years, this has been a site for protest in regards to many types of different educational policies and school reforms. With the most recent protest over the banning of Mexican American studies, which thrust Arizona into the national spotlight with our most controversial anti-immigration law in the country, Senate Bill 1070. What I want you to recognize is that multicultural
you can see how different I look now. This was 5 years ago. So these are little 3 to 5 minute teasers about what we're going to really explore in each module. And Luis does such a good job with getting faculty to feel comfortable in front of the camera and doing basically a digital story about what's going on in that module. I do these for every one of my modules. But you can see that as you go through the activities, there's readings. I have articles for them to read. This is my lecture. So I go in and well, we can kind of look at this just real quick so that you can see that we do some, we use a software called, this is again, look at my hair. My hair is so different every time you see me. We use a technology called Panopto. What's wonderful about this is you can jump to parts of the lecture if you want to hear something again. So if I really wanted to go through and just say, oh, I can't remember, what did she say in this area? It goes right to that slide. So this really helps students to study, to go back, and they can listen to just portions of the lecture. So I love Panopto. It's a really powerful lecture tool.
Thank you, Melody.
Thread. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, keep going. We got one more question in there, but go ahead.
I'm almost done. This is VoiceThread. I can't take you in because this is a live course, so I can't take you into my discussions, of course. But this is where students do their discussion every week. They have a quiz, and then I also teach with case study analysis, and I use a technology called Play Pause It that actually sits on top of the video, and I will stop the video and ask a question and then have the students answer, and then I can go in and I can grade all of those answers and push it right to the textbook. This to the grade book. This makes the watching videos more engaging and interactive because I have about 10 questions for every one of my videos. And then I do final projects. So every module, they're doing a piece of the project. So by the end, they have 7 pieces that they have to tie in to a presentation that they give to the class, and we have a peer review. So this is an example of what a typical online class could look like.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melody. All right, and so we had another question. We have about 3 minutes left, so if there are any others, feel free to submit them. But the question is, what is the furthest year back transfer credits will be accepted? And we actually had a World War II veteran come to school with us for Arizona Online, and he had credits that were accepted back from the 1950s. So to answer your question, Eric, there is not necessarily an expiration date for any classes. It's more about when we look at transfer, we're looking at the course you took previously. Does it meet those core competencies of our classes? And is it a regionally accredited school? And then if it's a math or a science and you need that class as a prerequisite to another class, that's the only time when sometimes there will be an expiration date, because we want to make sure that you've maintained all of those concepts before you move on to the next class, because we want to make sure you're successful. But there are placement tests and things as well if that ends up happening. So, and again, we can always have our enrollment counselor request a pre-evaluation for you, so you can get a rough idea, an unofficial evaluation of how your credits will be transferred in. Any other questions? Great. Well, I think we're right on time. So thank you so much, Melody and Matt. This was very, very helpful. And every time I see it, I feel like I learned something new. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.